Good morning, sports fans alike. It is a beautiful Saturday morning. Welcome, everyone. We are live on all platforms. This is our first ever podcast where we are coming straight to you from your own living room. We have lots of predictions here. We have scores to talk about. We got games that we're going to even discuss. We're even going to have a special guest come on in here. Ignore the green screen effect a little bit. A little technicality here. All right, good morning, Ben and Scott. Welcome all. And so we're going to be covering a wide range of topics here. But the first thing that I'm going to get to is to let you know what is the ups. And we're going to let you know. So, Bigtexgaming Sports Talk. How did that name come to be? Go Dogs, yeah. Cheer on your favorite team here. Again, we're going to interact through the chat. We're going to have, if you want to actually come be a caller and actually say something not long term. All right, we got Tigers, we got my Flames, and also we got my Texas Longhorns. But a while back, here's a little background for today will be the third season. It used to be called the Sports Talk Stream until you, the fans, helped come up with this amazing name. And the logo was designed by Isaiah Gorsline. And so, and then we have Text Talks. Text Talk, there is a difference between the two. Don't get them confused. I'll try not to put them together, but Bigtexgaming Sports Talk, we talk sports. We talk everything sports for you. Text Talk, we talk about influencers. How are you having an impact on your community alike? Whereas Bigtexgaming Sports Talk, we want to talk sports, college, football, baseball, whatever's on your mind. This is a first go ahead, first round at it. There will be some delays, some glitches. There will be a little bit of everything. And so, again, that is what we have here. And, of course, we are simultaneously live on both the YouTube channels. We are on Trovo, and we're also on. So, the best way for me to make sure you're all tuned in. And so if there's anything sports-related you want to discuss, we want to discuss it. And so come hang out with us. Welcome, Brady. Welcome. All right, so we are ready to go. I think the show is ready. It's as good as it's going to get. It is a Saturday morning. Today we're heading to a Liberty Flames game. I got my Rashad Jennings jersey on. But in the meantime, in the show, we want to hear from you. And so we're going to do exactly that. So that is the difference between Text Talk. We just talk with different people. Appreciate you, Scott, following for 245 days. And Bigtexgaming Sports Talk podcast. We are a podcast. Everything that's going out today will be going forth around to all the channels. You can find us later on all the iTunes. So just a little infomercial before we get things going here. I told you I was going to start right around the 9 o'clock hour. And we are definitely going to do that. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so this is, of course, Bigtexgaming Sports Talk. There's a lot of sports happening today. There's so much in the news of sports that, what games, all right, here's a question for you. What games are you most looking forward to today? There's a lot of college football. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but what games are you looking forward to? For me, there's a couple. We're going to be at a rainy UAB Liberty game, first home game for them. They won in 4 overtimes last week. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then Texas, Alabama. We're going to talk about that too. But those are my 2 games for today that I am looking forward to. And hope you are too. And so, just chime in Tigers and Wildcats. All right. That's your LSU Tigers and Missouri Wild. No, Kentucky. Is that Missouri Tigers and is that? Oh, Iowa and Iowa State. Oh, okay. Iowa Tigers. Iowa Wildcats. Oh, K-State. Okay, had me confused for a minute. I thought it was Kansas State Wildcats and LSU Tigers, I bet. Oh, Missouri Tigers. We got 3 different Tigers. We got Clemson Tigers, LSU Tigers, and we got the Missouri, LSU, and Clemson. Those are the big 3 Tigers, and they're all in the same division, same conference. They're all in the SEC. And so, again, Tex Talk, we're separating the Tex Talk from the Big Tech Sports Gaming. So, and I would like to reach out to other influencers, marketplace, multipliers, whoever you are. I would love to do an interview and talk about how you got started and what you're doing. It doesn't necessarily have to be streaming related. You could be the well-known TikToker out there. And so, but of course, you got to have a following. And I asked some pretty decent questions as we talk about the state of streaming. That's what Tech Talk is more about. Talking about that state of streaming. Where do we go from here? There's a lot of unknowns right now. And people are just trying to do the best that they can with what they have. And so, let's move on. All right, so here's a topic. Flames in the NFL. I would say 2 weeks ago, it was still preseason. It was trials for a lot of people. One of the topics that I like to cover is the Flames in the NFL and how they are doing. I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is there's only one Flame in the NFL. Of course, he's my boy, Malik Willis. Story Jackson from the Cowboys is now a free agent linebacker. Kevin Shaw, receiver for the Bears, he's now a free agent. Deron Lowe of the Chargers, Elijah James, I think of the Titans at that time, Johnny Huntley and Skylar Thomas. Oh, Skylar Thomas of the Chargers, Deron Lowe of the Rams, Johnny Huntley. These are some Flames that I wouldn't say flamed out. They will get other opportunities elsewhere. But right now, it is not the time nor the place where they're going to do well. We're going to talk a lot about Liberty Flames. Hopefully, we'll have a weekly schedule, weekly Saturday, where we'll talk about Liberty Flames while I work on the lighting effects to get it much better, much improved. And so, Malik Willis, outstanding preseason game. I'm not going to say that I'm praying for an injury, that he gets an opportunity. I believe the head coach is doing exactly what he needs to do to make it right. And Ryan Tannehill didn't get a lot of snaps in the preseason. Why? Because he's a starter. He is a starter in the NFL. And right now, he is kind of just waiting on his time. Look at some great athletes of today. Look how long it took for Aaron Rodgers to step in where Brett Favre was. 3 to 4 years before he even played his first snap, other than becoming a backup to Brett Favre. In a way, that's kind of what's going on with Malik. I do love his ability, and mobile quarterbacks do not stay long here. Yeah, Tannehill is quarterback number 1, and so the fact that he is quarterback number 1, well, there's some things that Malik has to learn still. The first game he went out there, he relied on a lot of his legs. The only other quarterback to actually have more rushing yards than his whole team, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Malik is in that same category. RB1 for the Titans, Derrick Henry. They did draft another running back in hopes to ease the pain because Derek's been carrying the ball a long time. Yeah, Derrick Henry is your go-to. Now, they did add some receiving core around there, too. They got rid of Julio Jones. They didn't re-sign him. They added Robert Woods, among some other things. But they did get rid of Logan Woodside because Malik did play better. Logan had 3 picks, and his last preseason game did not fare as well. So Malik has proven that he is good. And right now, just because he came from Liberty, a lot of people don't take too kind to Liberty football players because of what they stand on. So they know they have to rely on God. They have to rely on getting out there and proving to everyone that they deserve to be here just as well. And so that's my 2 cents on that, which brings me to my next topic here. What you talking about, Willis? And this one is, what you talking about, Willis? Will Willis get his start? Only time will tell. Only time will tell about that. And then, will he do good? I don't know. All I can know is that you're not Willis. And so when I think about what you're talking about, Willis, is that now he's got to sit. He has to sit for this long term and wait it out. But there were some plays that happened. Let's take, for instance, the Rams and the Bills. Did y'all see that game, the Rams versus the Bills? The Bills demolished the Super Bowl champions. Now, the Super Bowl champions did lose a lot of people in the process. And while they did lose a lot of people in the process, they're in a rebuilding year right now. They have to decide contracts. Who's worth more and who definitely keeping. Welcome, Nathan. We're welcome to the Sports Talk, where we talk sports. You interact with me, and I will interact with you on the chat. We do have a live call-in if you want to talk about anything. Whatever's on your mind, I would love to hear from you. So feel free to call in at any point. It's going good, and so yeah, today we're just talking about what you're talking about, Willis. Will Willis get his start in the NFL? The only thing that's gonna get him that start is not having any injuries. Or actually, having injuries to Tannehill. I'm sorry, having injuries to Tannehill. We don't pray that on anybody. Because look at some quarterbacks who started early and didn't do so well. I think the Titans did get a gold mine when they got Malik Willis. And so so we're going to talk a little bit of college. We're going to talk about predictions for today's game. And then we're going to switch gears in 15 or so minutes. We're going to switch gears to football. We're going to do some predictions here. But here's one thing that I thought was interesting. Jason Peters, Dallas Cowboys, unretired. He's 40 years old. You know what I believe what happened? Tom Brady went on vacation, talked to Jason Peters, said, "Hey, come out of retirement with me. We can run this league, show people how it's done." And that's exactly what they are doing. Jason Peters had to talk to Tom Brady while on this sabbatical, this break, whatever it is, to come out of retirement and say, "Hey, I'm unretired. Now I'm going to play for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a former Eagle. I remember him playing 20 years ago. Well, yeah, it was about 20 years ago when he got drafted by the Eagles. And so, what are your thoughts on Jason Peters and the Dallas Cowboys signing him? They're putting him on the practice squad to. Apparently, he's not in shape to do anything. He's still out of shape. And so, what are your thoughts on exactly Jason Peters coming out of retirement? Do y'all like it? Do y'all hate it? What was that? That just happened a few seconds ago. So, like I said, we're kind of bouncing back and forth between some of the sports topics that are happening here. And do you think it's going to improve the Cowboys? Usually, age is a defining factor in the world of sports. The older you get, the harder it is to be in that 100% 100% of the time. And so I think it's going to be challenging. Like I said, Dallas decided they're going to put him on their practice squad and see what happens with that. A little news and nuggets from around the NFL. All right, so today we're going to switch back to the Liberty versus UAB. And with that, we're going to talk about how will Liberty survive UAB. It's going to be a raining downpour. It's going to be a raining game. So we're going to take a short break and come right back and talk. We're going to jump to the other studio. And so don't go anywhere. Don't change that dial. We'll be right back for more Bigtexgaming Sports Talk. And hey everybody, what's up? Hopefully you can hear me all right. Ignore these pans, they're kind of flowing here and there. But we have for you. Whoa. Okay, so today is a Liberty Sports Talk where we got lots of fun news and games and highlights. Trying to move out of the way. We got the UAB Blazers. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, excuse these fans. I guess dark is not the color. But, yeah, I'm rooting for these Liberty Flames here. Ooh. Apparently, we're having some technicality on the front here. Okay, there we go. So we got the Liberty Flames battling against none other than the UAB Blazers. Right now they have a 6-point favorite. The weather today is going to be raining. Oh my, it's going to be raining, I tell you. And usually when you got bad weather, such as rain, anything is possible. Of course, call me Big Tex. Actually, no, don't call me Big Tex. Call me, you know what? Big Tex didn't even introduce himself. Call me Crazy Tex. How about that? We got the 1-0 UAB versus the 1-0 Liberty Flames. They're at Williams Stadium today. And so last week, the Flames went into 4 overtimes. 4 overtimes with a final score of 29 to 27. Will they do good today? I don't know. But what I can tell you is the Liberty has switched out their quarterback. Due to Charlie Brewer being injured, they now have Salter in there. Salter is their go-to for today. Again, so last week you saw a little bit of Salter. He was up and down the field. The whole team fought. It was unexpected, the injuries after injuries that took place. But guess what? Liberty survived. Whereas UAB, they took down Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M is a FCS school, so they're not as good. Most people in the FCS, Liberty has beaten FCS teams. But Liberty played someone who's in the Sun Belt. Liberty is like, man, we should have been in that Sun Belt conference. They took down Liberty Flames. They took down Southern Miss last year at home, and they went on the road. And if y'all remember from last year, UAB Blazers came to open their home to Liberty, where it was a packed house, and it was a brand new stadium being christened. What did Liberty do? They came through and they beat them. The prediction is that UAB is going to win, has a 6-point advantage. It could go plus or minus on either side. We're hoping for a good game. It's going to be a sloppy game. The weather is going to be ridiculous. Yes, the weather is going to be crazy. It's going to be, I have a feeling it's going to be just like last week's game, but this time it's all up to the kicking. Usually when it rains, there's going to be fumbles, there's going to be interceptions. It depends on if there's a downpour. You know, it's football season, so I don't expect the Flames to flame out. A lot of people are calling this prediction one for UAB Blazers. I think Liberty has what it takes to win. Their line has gotten better. Good morning, Shane, and good morning, Nathan. So yeah, the team has gotten better. Welcome to this edition of the Bigtexgaming Sports Talk, and we're talking about Liberty and UAB. All right, before I give you my predictions on the game, what are your predictions for today's game? Who you got winning? Who you got losing? And what are some of the scores? UAB. Maybe you don't know much about UAB and Liberty. Liberty had Malik Willis is no longer there, so they had to find a new quarterback. When Buckshot Jones left, Malik Willis came in and filled the role for the last 2 years. Went to his games. He is amazing. I was like, he's going to be a number 1 pick. He should have been number 1 pick, but he was drafted in the 3rd round. And so for today's Liberty Flames, UAB Blazers. Just tell me what score you think. Who's going to win? What are some of your predictions out here? All right, so for the time being, this is who we got winning, and we're gonna, you know what? I just realized something here. Da-da-da. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I had to fix some technicalities. Good things y'all can still listen. Again, this is a time that you can actually come on in. All right, so we got the Houston Cougars versus Texas Red Raiders today at 3:05, and Nathan is cheering for both of them. And we're talking college football. We're talking professionals here. And let's get right on to my predictive pick. My predictive pick for this game: Liberty 35, UAB 27. I know the graphics aren't. I got to work on getting the graphics better, but that's my predictive pick: 35-27, and it's going to be a long shot here because this is before I knew it was going to be raining. I think Liberty has that offense to get us to the next level and play a team like the UAB Blazers. They prove that we can hang with anyone. Well, we're going to surely find out this for sure. 35-27. I don't know why these hands don't come in great. All right, so another game here. Who's ready for this? My team. Texas Longhorns. Or as they say, hook 'em horns, baby. Hook 'em horns. This is who we got. We have Texas, Alabama going head to head. You can see what both teams did last week. Both averaging over 50 points a game. We got Bama easily cremating almost 60 points, 59-0. Sandy, welcome. Oh, you're going to see that prediction here in just a minute. Yeah, both of us played a killer game. We played Louisiana Monroe, which Liberty actually lost to them last year. They played Utah State. Utah State's an okay team, but they're not the best team. But it's Alabama here. Alabama has been ranked number 1 since Nick Saban has stepped foot there and proven that Alabama is one to reckon with. They are in the SEC. Texas will be going to the SEC sooner rather than later. And today, if you want to chime in on any Texas and Alabama, you can do so on the chat, or you can do so by coming and be a part of this broadcast here, this podcast that's going to go out later on. Both Texas has Quinn Ewers. He went to Ohio State for 1 year because Texas had this rule that he can't start and collect off the NIL right away. So, all right, so Nathan's got 48-28, Alabama winning. All right, bold predictions. They're at the Lone Star State here. Texas is going to do whatever it can. Both teams, if they played someone hard early on, it might have been this is probably the toughest competition. It's not on neutral ground. It's at Texas. The stadium's going to get crazy. I mean, it's going to get crazy in that stadium. All polls show that Alabama is going to dominate Texas. Steve Sarkisian, if you've ever seen The Karate Kid where you got the sensei and the student, this is exactly what's going on here. Steve Sarkisian going against his former foe and compadre. Right now, Bama's averaging 42 points per game just on the spread alone. And then, so here's my predictive pick. Let's see if he'll come up. Whoa. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we're having some technicalities here. Okay, let's go with Whoa. Okay, here we go. Apparently, we have some issues. I got 45-40. That's how close this game is going to be. 45-40. I'm not sure why the UAB Blazers came up. There we go. Whew. 45-40. I think this is going to be a close game here. It's going to be one of the closest games to go on record. And so Nathan's got 48-28. I like close games. The football players don't like close games, but I do like close games in this case here. And so as we move on to our Texas, I think they can be the clear upset Cinderella. They are the underdogs at home. When they announced that Alabama and Texas was playing each other, they sold all their seats in less than 30 minutes. So those of you rooting on, we're going to be listening to the game while driving to the Liberty game because it's a noontime game. So we're going to be tuned into that. We might watch it too, who knows. But we're definitely going to be staying in tune for that game alone. And with that, I think Texas will have just enough to beat. And I also don't think that any former Alabama coaches has ever defeated the rivals like Alabama and Texas here. Huge rivalry. And so if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, and also, all right, so here's a predicted pick. Houston Cougars, 28. Texas Red Raiders, 45. All right. Those are bold predictions, but it is a Red Raiders. I want to concur that I think that is definitely a good showing. I think that will happen. But today, two good games. Too bad this was not a nightcap game, but if it was, I wouldn't be able to watch it because I'm going to be at the Liberty game today. And, all right, so we're going to move into our next segment here. It's called Weekly Pick'em, and you can join along with us. But wanted to come on out here, and we're going to switch it back over to Bigtexgaming on the other side. So we're going to go right to a quick break and come right back for some more Weekly Pick'em. Who do you got for this year's team? We're going to talk about it and momentarily, so stay tuned. Come on back. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that little segment here. Air raid. All right, so yeah, we were talking about weekly pick'ems, and by that I mean we're going to be covering sports picks. Who do you got for this week's NFL games that are on tap? There's a lot of good ones here. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit of college, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So, first order we have here. Get our clicker to work. Okay, here we go. Let me fix this clicker. That's actually the first order of business. There we go. Okay. So, we have today's on tap. We have some college weekly pick'ems. Today, Baylor meets BYU in a clash of the Titans. BYU is ranked in the top 10. The top 25. Baylor's ranked in the top 10 ranking here. Both of them have very high-powered offenses, and they definitely came here to win and prove. So I want to ask you, the fans out there, who do you got? Like I said, feel free to come if you want to voice your opinion, whether in the chat or live. Tell me why you think BYU or Baylor should win. We're going to cover some sports predictor picks, a weekly pick 'em. This is our game of the week besides the Texas-Alabama game. I've already given you my prediction on the Texas and Alabama game, but this is your opportunity to actually say, you know what? I think Baylor has a chance of winning. Like I said, today I'm going to be, y'all know who I'm choosing? Who do you think? Because I am from Texas. BYU plays Liberty later on this year. Actually, in a month they play Liberty. And then, so what are your thoughts on this game? Besides the Texas and Bama game, this is like the second best game out there right now. Let's see. Okay. So with that, I am choosing Baylor is going to continue its hot streak and continue in the top 10 and pursue and still win this game here. That is, I thought I was going for BYU for a second. I know that's what y'all were thinking. You're like, Big Tex, he's probably going BYU, the upset. And hey, welcome, Laura. And this could prove a. Now, if BYU comes in and beats Baylor, that's a big if. It's going to be tough. I mean, Baylor is going to Provo, Utah to play against BYU. BYU is also rebuilding after Zach Wilson's depart a few years ago. Have they played anyone strong? Probably not. This is their toughest competition, just like Texas and Alabama's toughest competition. So that is why I'm choosing the Baylor Bears. I don't have any points for this, but that is my weekly pick 'em. We're going to pick Baylor Bears beaten on BYU. All right, so this is the next weekly pick 'em. I want you guys to chime in. Who do you have for the NFL? We do have the NFL coming up. This is the first weekend. I have chosen 5 games that I think are worthy to be selected. And who's going to win those games? Definitely want to hear back from y'all if you see that that Texas is going to dominate, or not Texas. Anyways, let's get to the NFL Weekly Pick'em. My mind's on Texas because they got a lot of good games. We got the Red Raiders, we got Baylor Bears playing a good one against BYU. You got A&M. You got the Bama and Texas game. All right, Sunday's game. Panthers and Browns. Baker Mayfield. There's been a lot of talking trash on this game for the last few weeks. Baker Mayfield circled this on their calendar. They do not have Deshaun Watson, who they restructured and got him a long-term deal. He is right now serving his suspension, while the Browns are relying on Jacoby Brissett and the Cleveland Browns to come in to Carolina. They've had a lot of injuries in the preseason already. Guys are not 100% healthy. I think Baker Mayfield is going to prove to Cleveland that I am a winner from day one. And yet, what y'all do? Y'all release me. Y'all let me go. And so he is and has always been a day one starter. Despite he hasn't had the best offensive line. He's going to a better offensive line with the Carolina Panthers than the Cleveland Browns. And so who do you want to win this game? This is a Sunday day game. It's not a highlight that is taking place. In the chat, let me know. Tell me who you got winning for this. I could probably put a poll up. See if I can do that. A live poll for you guys. I didn't think about it earlier, but yeah, let's put a poll together. And my goal is to do a weekly podcast on all things sports related. I know it's early in the morning, and I would like to try to get them do it on Saturday mornings if I'm able to. So let's do a poll here. For who you got? All right, we just released a poll. Let's see here. See if I can make the poll live. Does the owner of the Browns own the Bengals? No, they do not. Paul Brown does not own the Bengals. Actually, Paul Brown had passed away I would say years ago. And what has happened to my controller? There we go. My controller is a little funny this morning. Alright, so the poll is, which we're going to publish it. Alright, so it is active right now. Who you got to win? We're going to keep this up for a little bit. There you go. Do you want the Panthers or do you want the Browns? Or who do you favor more? Like I said, it's very interactive. I want to hear from you guys and gals out there. Who do you think will win this Sunday's matchup? It's going to be a telltale sign of, is this Baker's team or is it the same old Panthers? Is it the same old Browns? We have Jacoby Brissett. And of course, they have this guy who's a great running back that has carried them through and through. And so we'll leave the poll open for a little bit. This is not the game of the week poll. But who do you think? Who do you want to win? Are you rooting for the Browns? Or are you rooting for the Panthers? Are you a lifelong Brownie? Or are you a Wildcat Panther? This is an open poll, open to everyone that would like to participate. All right, make sure you hit that poll too, so we keep track of who you want to win. So we do have Jim saying that he's rooting for the Panthers in this one. What about you? What about the rest of y'all? Who do you want to win this? Do you want Jacoby Brissett and the Browns? I don't think the Jacoby Brissett and the Browns has exactly what it takes. Their whole offense and everything about them is just. The Browns haven't been able to go to a playoff since Baker Mayfield. They're not going to go back again. They tried adding new weapons. I feel bad for Myles Garrett, who's on the Browns doing everything he can to definitely be a part of to keep the Browns in this. So I'm with you, Jim, that I think the Panthers have an easy victory here. That's also why it's not a highlighted part of the game. I mean, it's not a showcase. Let's see. What about this game here? I know we have many people who are Packers and we have Packers and Viking fans out there. We have Aaron Rodgers, of course, coming back, who went through contract negotiations and to retire, to unretire. And then we got the Viking roster filling up with a good receiving core. Actually, one they drafted and the other one they didn't draft, but now they ended up with them. So we have Kirk Cousins and the Vikings taking on the Green Bay Packers once again in this showdown. So Packers Vikings, who do you got? Who you got for this victory here? Aaron Rodgers will always be Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to light up and put 300 yards on the Vikings. The defense may not be there yet, but if the Vikings do surprise someone, they're going to do whatever it takes to definitely upset Green Bay. But they're at Minnesota. Close game on this one. I agree. It will probably be a close game on this right here. And so it's anyone's game. If I had to pick a score, I think it's going to be a 5-point spread, maybe 35-30. Maybe that close. Kirk Cousins is going to fight with his receiving core. They have improved. But is it enough to beat Green Bay? That's what it all boils down to. Green Bay has dominated their division since Aaron Rodgers took over and Brett Favre. When they shipped Brett Favre off to New York Jets or something. And even eventually in the Vikings. All right, let's move on to the next one here. All right, here's my favorite. We got the Titans. We got the Giants. We got the Titans and Giants here. All right, we are closing that poll. But, yeah, Titans-Giants. Tannehill didn't really practice in the offseason, but their team, despite losing Harold Landry, their defense is going to show up for sure. They are going to prove that, hey, we are here. And definitely we're not going anywhere. They have Malik Willis. They drafted in the third round. Y'all might know Malik. I'm a Malik Willis fan, being a Liberty alumni grad. I have his jersey. Probably need to get another jersey of his. But I'm rooting for Malik Willis to eventually take over Ryan Tannehill's spot. I think the Titans have proven that they know how to win games. The Giants have Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, a few receiving core. I do not foresee them lasting long term. Daniel Jones is not Eli Manning. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I mean, Tennessee's easily going to beat the Giants simply by who they got. And if Tannehill does get injured, or if the Titans are going to be making a using Malik in some plays, I know when I was playing Madden, I would actually intentionally put Malik in on certain plays. I mean, he went against first-team guys in preseason and just clearly dominated. But I think the Titans are going to get their first victory at home against the Giants. Don't y'all agree that this is one team that you definitely don't want to mess with? Don't mess with the Titans, because they'll be coming. They're hungry. They want this victory. For you Giants fans out there, I don't know what to say about your quarterback. It's for the whole situation. They've been injury plagued for the last few years. If it's not one thing, it's another. And so, hopefully, the Giants are just still building up their team. But I'm rooting for the Titans. Y'all should know that by now. That's who I got rooting on Sunday. Who do you got? Just say it in the chat. If at any point in time you guys want to come on to the show, the Bigtexgaming Sports Talk, we would welcome you. This is a kickoff to our newer podcast, which will follow with a NFL draft talk, and we'll be talking about the draft next year. See what holes need to be filled. The only thing that Tennessee Titans have to worry about is they got to fill big shoes by Harold Landry, who torn an ACL. Oh, yeah. We got the Titans here. All right, Sunday night matchup. Tom Brady is back from vacation. He is ready to go. This one's a close one here. Sunday night matchup. The Buccaneers, the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been rebuilding. They have TJ Vasher on their squad, who's a Red Raider that has been trying to make the squad. He's been on their practice squad, more or less. And he's survived all those training camps. But he's been injured himself a lot lately. So he hasn't really seen the field as much. Now, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott going against the Buccaneers, Tom Brady, Leonard Fournette, and the cast of Julio Jones, amongst many other receivers. Who do you got for this game here? Cowboys, Bucks. I look for it to be a close one. Maybe too close. Tom Brady will always put up numbers. If you have him in fantasy football, he will continue to do what he does best. And that is to go out there and prove that age is just a number. I think he's older than Vinny Testaverde. He's right there around 40. I'll have to see how old Vinny Testaverde was when he retired. But Tom Brady, unretired. It's going to be an emotional game for him. And there's a lot of talk on all right, so you're going to flip a coin to see on this one. I think it's going to be close. Like I said, I don't have numbers to say, okay, otherwise. But those star athletes are there. They did draft. Both teams did actually draft pretty good. They drafted supporting casts to help build their roles. And so, who do you got winning this one? Cowboys, Bucks. Let me know in the chat. Let me know at any point in time. And so, another close game with the Bucks and the Cowboys. We have one more game to show for you. This one is a Monday night showdown. Actually, we'll get to that in a minute. These are other games that are taking place. Saints, Falcons, Niners, Bears, Steelers, Bengals, Eagles, Lions, Colts, Texans, Patriots, Dolphins, Ravens, Jets. You got the Jaguars, Commanders, the Chiefs and Cardinals, and the Raiders and the Chargers. Those are other notable games that are going on. So we may not have covered everything. And we're not going to say, okay, pick who you want to win. And these are some of the games that we are just not choosing. I could have chose any number of teams for this weekly pick'em. A lot's going to show for this week one. How good everyone is going to be. And so we have here. Actually, I just realized I didn't change something here. Whoopsie. There we go. I just realized I didn't change something on on another channel. But yeah, this has been a... Oh, Bengals are your hometown guys. You know what? Cincinnati, we went to Cincinnati last weekend. Oh my gosh, we went there and coming back, Cincinnati was awesome. I definitely enjoyed the going there. It was one of the Riverwalk, and the fact that on the other side you see is Kentucky. That was probably one of my favorite highlights. We just kind of went around the city, just kind of looking around, seeing what's there. Beautiful city. Good morning, Jordan. Good morning. Those of you that are just tuning in, welcome to the Sports Talk. I am Big Tex, and we are gearing up for a football season unlike any other. There's a lot of good games going on besides the games that were mentioned. We have one final game to get to as we come to the conclusion of the Bigtexgaming Sports Talk Monday Night Showdown here. We got the Broncos and the Seahawks battling each other here. That's right, the Broncos and the Seahawks. We got Russell Wilson going against his former team. Drew Lock going against the former team, but he's actually not playing because they are putting Geno Smith in for the Seahawks. Now, I agree with what the analyst said. If it was not for... let's see. If it was not for Russell Wilson being traded to the... Oh, Cincinnati Airport Center in Kentucky. I'm good, Jordan. I'm good. Just talking sports this morning. All about sports. And so today we highlight some key games that are... This is our fifth game that we're highlighting. The Broncos and the Seahawks. Who's in? Who's not? The Seahawks gave up a lot. Actually, no, the Broncos gave up a lot to acquire Russell Wilson. Then signed this massive $250 million deal. I was like, man, he got paid today, and it is... I'm going to say the Broncos are going to come in and annihilate the Seattle Seahawks. This is going to be their time where they are... Broncos have, with Nathaniel Hackett, new coach, the Seahawks don't know much about him other than a few preseason where you play guys that are not starting, and they think they have the offensive power. But who do you got winning for the Broncos and the Seahawks? Type it in chat. or if you ever want to talk about any of your teams that we cover today, college and professionals, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We want your opinion, even if it's for like 5 minutes. Come on the show and tell us why you think your team deserves to be number one. What we could do is be like everyone else. We could say that, hey, my team is going to the Super Bowl. All the analysts have picked Buffalo so far. The Bills have proven that they deserve to be in this. But for how long, I can't say. Will Buffalo plays Tennessee? I'm scared of them next week. Tennessee will be a highlighted game. And so let's worry about week 1 on the short week for them. And so I'm going to choose Denver and Nathaniel Hackett to beat Pete Carroll and Geno Smith in Seattle. Who do you got to win this one here? Again, we want to make this sports talk stream as interactive as possible. And so feel free to chime in. We will try to do this weekly. Depends on my Saturday schedules. I do know the next few weeks we will be able to do this up until the game against BYU, and I will find out what my schedule is for that Saturday. But in the meantime, I hope you have enjoyed this edition of the Bigtexgaming Sports Talk, where we have talked sports. We have talked a lot about sports. We talk college, we talk professional, we talk about Malik Willis and the fact that he's got to wait and see. Hopefully we'll take some of your call-ins too. And in the meantime, I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you again for being a part of Bigtexgaming Sports Talk. And until next time, y'all be good out there.